Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now today we're going to be playing one of my favourite racing games of all time, and that is Burnout on the Gamecube. Now Burnout came out in around 2001, I believe, and this game in many ways was the game that I was looking for. At the time, the Gamecube wasn't exactly overflowing with arcadey racing games, and coming from the N64 and having enjoyed and loved Ridge Racer 64, I was simply crying out for a game a bit like this. And when I first got it, the fact that the guy said "go" at the beginning made me think of Ridge Racer, and that's one of the reasons why I thought this game might be quite good. Now the whole point of the game is that you're racing in quote-unquote real-world traffic, and it's very dangerous. The more dangerous you drive, the better, so you can go past vehicles and perform a near miss like that, and that fills up your boost meter, which sort of gives you like a nitrous boost when you hold down the right shoulder button on the GameCube controller. The Z trigger lets you look backwards, which is a bit scary when you've got traffic hurtling towards you at like 129 miles per hour. And the whole feeling of this game is just very fast. It's frenetic, it's extremely competitive, especially in the later levels. You end up a little bit like Ridge Racer 64. You end up really hating some of the NPCs, and this was a game that I just fell in love with. Now, I first played it sometime after it came out, and the reason why I know that, I probably played this in 2003, and the reason why I know that is because this game made me think of the Matrix Reloaded movie. I remember watching that, and then I'm playing this at the same time and thinking, this is just like playing, you know, that sequence where they're on the highway and the agents are overtaking the people in trucks and things, and there's crashes and all sorts of stuff. There's chaos occurring in the Matrix. So this game made me feel as though somehow I was reenacting parts of that scene, that sense of just chaos on a public highway, which is kind of exciting, if not, you know, extremely dangerous. And that's sort of part of the point. I'm going to crash deliberately here. The crash mechanics, although that's not a particularly impressive crash, were very impressive. The destruction of the models of the vehicles that you were driving, the fact that it actually totted up the damage that you'd done, is great fun when you're a kid. And I mean, it kind of makes me cringe slightly now that I do drive, because I sort of think you shouldn't be doing that. But as a child, it's great fun, or certainly as a teenager when I was playing this, sorry. So oncoming traffic, 200 odd meters, filling up your boost meter. The more dangerous you drive, the better. Now, something else that I really like about this game is just the looseness of it. It feels really nice, and you can throw the car into the bends and it just sort of skids for you. It's not a simulator. And yeah, if you play Burnout expecting like a Gran Turismo experience, you're going to be sorely disappointed. This is in the same vein as Ridge Racer. It's an arcadey racing game. Now, me and my brother used to have so much fun with this, but in particular with its sequel, Burnout 2 is much better. They added on a crash mode to the game. The levels, I think, are a bit more interesting. But this, almost as like an extended demo for what's possible, is very impressive. One of the key things, though, I remember reading in the GameCube magazine at the time, soon after it came out, but before I got the game. One of the impressive things was the effort that they put into modelling real-world traffic. So this is called the Journeyman level, so you're sort of going in and out of, I suppose, the outskirts of a city centre. The fact that you've got things like that traffic coming across your way, and if you're racing in this stuff, this is the sort of hazards that you come across. They put an awful lot of effort into modelling how traffic behaves. So sometimes actually, if you're driving on the wrong side of the road, cars will actually swerve like that to get out of your way, actually. Sometimes they don't like that. But you get the sense that you really are weaving in and out of rush hour in this case, in this city, wherever this city is. And again, that kind of made me feel like I was in the Matrix. You don't quite know where that mega metropolis is, do you? Or indeed how big it is. So I loved it, and as I say, I love Burnout 2 even more. Burnout 2 is actually, in my opinion, probably the second best Burnout game. The first best, in my opinion, being Burnout Paradise. The massive sort of open world experience that we got on the Xbox 360 and PS3, etc. Now, sadly, Criterion, the guys behind this, the studio behind this, announced a couple of years ago that they're moving away from racing simulators, racing games, or arcade games. Sorry, arcade racing games, not simulators. I think that's a real shame. I would love to see a Burnout or Burnout Paradise style game come out on current gen consoles, on the Xbox One or the on the PS4. That would be incredible to apply what they learned from Burnout Paradise and give it a bit of a next gen polish would be incredible. But apparently it's not going to happen. Darn it. Burnout Takedown, which I know an awful lot of people in the US, that was sort of their first introduction really to this, because this is a very European feeling game, especially some of the levels, like this Harbortown level, which feels like you're in the Mediterranean. This is actually basically Europe, feels very European. I can see why it didn't necessarily fly off the shelves in sorry, that made me jump, shelves in the US. But Burnout Takedown, which I think is Burnout 3, or is that Revenge? Anyway, there's one where the whole point is to ram your opponents off the track, and that's something which I wish they had in this, because actually I was just playing this before, and I was trying to got some boost, but I used that, and I was trying to smash my opponent into the side of the road, and he just wasn't coming flying off, and I really wish they had that. They have that in Burnout Paradise. That's so satisfying to slam them off. But anyway, as I say, if you sort of view this as an incipient demo as to what Criterion could do and what they were going to do, oh yes, look at that crash. With these crash mechanics, with the real world traffic modelling, with this sense of speed and the sense of slightly loose sense of sort of arcadey drifting and throwing your car around the bends, then this game is just wonderful. I highly recommend picking it up. I actually had to re-buy this. I picked it up for £1.50 at my local cash converters, so no excuse not to get hold of it. I'm going to try and get hold of Burnout 2, although that's much harder to get hold of, I think, because it's a bit better, slightly better game, and that's going for about £8 online, so I'll see if I can get a slightly better price and relive some of those memories at some point in the near future. But yeah, if you like this kind of game, if you like Ridge Racer, if you liked Burnout Paradise, you should give this a go, just to sort of see where it all started, you know, see where Burnout began. I believe actually an earlier version of this game came out in the late 90s on the PlayStation. I might be wrong about that. Oh, whoa! Might be wrong about that. But I think it did. So I don't think the Gamecube iteration is the original. Far from it. But it is a pretty game. I love the reflections on the metal of the car. I love the fact that you leave the sort of the tire tracks on the road as you go spinning around bends. And also, something that makes me chuckle is that when you're taking turnings, I wonder if you'll do it here. No. When you get to a junction where there's maybe like a right-hand turn or something, you actually indicate. The car indicates on the back of the indicator, the right-hand indicator or left-hand indicator flashes. So there's this sort of nod to observing the rules of the road. You know, the highway code says you must indicate before you leave a certain section. In fact, at the beginning of Harbortown, you sort of turn right. Maybe you'll see it just now. So here we are. It feels like you're into maybe like a side alley about to burst out onto the unsuspecting public. So off we go. Let's see. Will it indicate? Yep, there you go. Indicator flashed, and you turn right onto the road. Anyway. This is well worth playing. Now you might have noticed actually that the races are actually fairly long, like they're meaty little races, and I think part of that is to do with with sort of, I suppose, making it feel like a bit like an endurance test. You know, if you have to concentrate, you have to really fixate on what's ahead of you on the road in order to plan your route through the traffic, and also in order to try and outwit your opponent, especially if you're playing with a friend. Man, just imagine if this was happening in real life, the chaos that would ensue. Now, yeah, Paul and I especially would take turns trying to outdo each other on this game. Things like turning onto this bridge and not smashing up like that. If you'd managed that, it would be such a thrill. And then the next guy would come along and have a go and not quite succeed. I seem to recall that we really enjoyed trying to outdo each other's times, and also how close we dared get to things like trucks. This is why it's all about concentration, though. It's all about being aware of exactly where your car is. Come on! And obviously it's hard to do that when someone's crashed in front of you. Sigh. Well, I have to say, 19-year-old me or whatever would be very, very disappointed with my performance so far. Absolute trite. Okay. Tripe. Okay. Let's focus a little bit, shall we? I'll just do one lap of this, because this could go on for a while. Oh man. Oh. Okay, we're getting. I didn't make the checkpoint. Oh, what a fail. What a fail. Well, there you go, guys. Ridge Racer has always been one of my favourite games, and this just reminded me so much of it. And in some ways, actually, it's an improvement on what I liked about Ridge Racer on the N64. Burnout became a firm favourite very quickly, and Burnout 2, it's just better in every way. Improved graphics, improved modelling, improved levels, the crash mode. Definitely get this or that if you have a chance. Hopefully this has kind of been fun to watch, hopefully. And as ever, until next time, please do take care and do not drive like this on the road. Until next time, bye bye.